Where are we going? Hello, hello, hello. Does baby reflux cause hiccups? Today's question, it's quite an important one, and it's one I get asked a huge amount. And the answer is no. Reflux does not cause hiccups. However, hiccups and reflux go hand in hand. Okay? If your baby has reflux and if they have hiccups, what this actually means is that your baby is probably taking on too much air. It is not a widely known fact, but it was a bit of research done a long time ago that basically said the reason we as humans get hiccups is because there's air in our tummies and our body is trying to regulate air. So if you think about when you as an adult get hiccups, then it is when you've eaten too fast. You've inhaled your food and therefore there's air in with it. Or you have been laughing while having food, or you've consumed maybe like a soda or a carbonated drink way too fast. And that has caused bubbles and air to be in in your tummy, and therefore hiccups are a response of the diaphragm sort of hiccup going into a little bit of a spasm to get rid of those reflux and those air bubbles and trying to get them out of the stomach. So hiccups are actually a way of regulating air in the stomach. If your baby has hiccups, then it is generally because there is too much air in their stomach, and we need to look at how do we resolve that air in the first place. Now, aerophagia, which is the medical term for swallowing air, it happens for a number of different reasons itself. It happens because of a poor latch. It happens because a baby is crying. It can happen with dummy use if baby doesn't have a great latch on that. It can happen with talking and laughing. It can happen for so many reasons. It's the regulation of that that's really, really important. So there is a question in that I'm just going to share from Facebook, which is like, my baby has been a chronic hiccuper since in utero. Does this have anything to do with her reflux? Yeah, it kind of does. There's no real research around this, apart from me generally asking questions of the people I work with and have supported over the years. And there's a very high percentage of infants, I think it's about 70% of infants who have reflux, moms noticed a particularly high incidence of hiccups in utero. Okay, so that it's quite a high number. It doesn't mean we can prevent it. What it means is we can understand it. We can use it in pregnancy to go, okay, there's a higher risk of reflux here, but it's not guaranteed. You know, if you want understanding, if anybody's watching this and you want to understand prevention of reflux, there is a workshop on pregnancy and how to avoid reflux in your baby when you're pregnant, what you can do. That's all on our website. Many babies get hiccups in utero if there is potentially an allergen present as well. But again, it's not a guarantee. Hiccups in utero, excess hiccups in utero does not guarantee that baby is going to have reflux or an allergy. There's also a question coming in from Instagram, which is, we have been diagnosed with reflux through a barium test. And his symptoms, I've been told by a private cranial osteopath, he has posterior tongue tie, but the NHS will not listen to me and said it doesn't cause any symptoms. Charlotte, you need to go elsewhere. The NHS, the doctors, this is the biggest challenge we have. Our doctors don't understand reflux as a symptom. They don't understand reflux as something that has underlying causes. They have been taught in med school by people they trust that reflux is a disease, and therefore they believe it's a disease, and they believe that it must therefore, need a pill to fix it. That is not true when we look at things from a holistic point of view. The tongue tie in that case should be assessed. You can get private tongue tie assessments if you're in the UK. Look up the Association of Tongue Tie Practitioners, or just look up a lactation consultant in your area who has experience with tongue tie, or look up tongue tie practitioner in your area. Depending on where you are, we can make recommendations as well. But the number one, as far as we're concerned in the UK, is Carmel Gentle. She does a weekend clinic at Cairo by Hand. I will pop her Instagram handle below in the Instagram comments later on. By the way, if anybody on Facebook is watching and you have questions, then let me know as well. There's one other one on Instagram at the moment. Your baby had 15 hiccups a day in utero. Like, that is quite high. Charlotte's saying again, they keep telling her that he'll grow out of it next month at 6 months, but you wait to know this isn't true. Look it up. Yeah, this is the thing. There's always a reason, always a reason for infant reflux. Hiccups go hand in hand. We don't address the hiccups directly. What we want to do is address the underlying cause of the air, the excess air that's getting into baby's tummy. If you want to understand how to do this, there's like about a 40-minute, I think there's a number of little videos. There's I think it's half an hour, 40-minute video specifically on reducing air intake contained within the workshop that I have done in terms of understanding the overall cause, or understanding all of your baby's symptoms. What is the specific cause for their reflux and how you get specific answers. Where air intake is a massive issue, we've done a very specific class dedicated to reducing air intake as well. So the link to that will be below in Instagram comments. You will go to my bio. For Facebook, we will put the information in the comments around this post, and on YouTube they will be below as well. With a quick question, what about skin patch testing to diagnose slow allergies? I'm not, so at the moment, Shedri, I'm really talking about hiccups. When it comes to allergies, quickly answering that, I don't necessarily agree with invasive testing, skin prick or blood testing, because they don't tell us much. They have a 50% chance of being wrong as well. So there's not necessarily skin prick, skin patch. That it's slow reaction allergies are IgE allergies, and they don't necessarily show up on skin. The gold standard for any allergy testing is elimination, reintroduction, and that's when we know for sure. So that's it today. I'm trying to keep these videos to less than 10 minutes. I will be back again with another live at 2:30 p.m. on Monday. For anybody watching this on the replay, there is a building body of evidence wherever you're watching this, be it YouTube. If you're new to YouTube and you're new there, welcome. Make sure that you hit subscribe. If you're following us on Facebook, please make sure that you follow us as well as like the page so you get notifications. And we have a new Telegram channel for anybody who wants notifications outside of social media. There is more questions coming into Facebook, so I'll answer them in just a moment. But for anybody, if I said we have this Telegram channel set up, so if you want to get information about reflux into your phone daily without having to log on to social media or go into your inbox and sign up for that, then we'll put the link to our Telegram channel, which is free, in there as well. So here we go. There's another question, which is, hiccups stop my 8-month-old sleeping quite often. Advice to stop the hiccups once they start. Well, this is the challenge. Hiccups are there because there's too much air. Ideally, we want to prevent hiccups by reducing that air intake. I will show you an acupressure technique to reduce hiccups. Excuse me. Excuse me. However, addressing the underlying cause and source of the hiccups is going to be much more effective. However, acupressure in this soft bit of our fingers. Okay, if as an adult you squeeze that, there's an acupressure point in here called colon 4, Hegu. And if you squeeze that gently, if you squeeze it on yourself, squeeze it strong enough, you'll feel it's quite tender. There's very few adults walking around for whom this point is not tender. You don't want to squeeze it too much on your child, but gently massage it. So you're holding it top and bottom. So you're pinching through here. Hopefully you can see that. And just put a little bit of pressure. What this does is regulates the stomach to start putting stuff down the ways. However, remember that if there is air in the tummy and we stop those hiccups, then we're pushing that air down through the stomach and into the small intestine, where it then has a 3.5 to 4 meter journey to get out the other side. Adele, I'm going to bring up your comment saying, talking about hiccups and reflux and hiccups in utero puts the blame on the mother. No, and it causes shame. Adele, I don't believe that at all. And if you watch the entire pregnancy workshop, this is not about blaming parents at all. It's about understanding what we can do to minimize the impact of reflux and perhaps even make different choices. So this is nothing about blame whatsoever. Reflux happens. We need to understand why it's happening, when it's happening and what we can do to support these infants. It's not about putting any sort of blame. That's not what I do at all. The vast majority is not actually caused by dairy allergies whatsoever. A significant proportion is, however, it is not the majority of reflux that's caused by a cow's milk allergy. But thank you for sharing. Hayley, if baby reflux seems to improve with a bottle change, but he gets hiccups afterwards, does that mean the bottle isn't the best? Yes, it means that baby is still taking on air. So there's some more work to be done to identify those underlying sources of air. If you go back to the beginning of this video, I highlight the other sources of air. It's not always the bottle. So I can't just say point blank that actually it's the bottle. It may not be. The bottle may be the best one that you can possibly get. Hopefully they have helped. There's another one coming in. Where did I say the guide is to avoiding pregnancy in reflux? How you doing? It's on the website. So I will pop a link to that below or in the comments once we have done. If you go to the Instagram page, or actually drop me a message, DM me, and I'll ping you back the link for that. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm just going to quickly scroll Instagram. Oh, hang on. Feeding my baby helps stop his hiccups. But is that wise? You can overfeed. Can you overfeed breast reflux babies? So babies with reflux can often overfeed, excuse me, because they might be feeding for a comfort purpose. So it's really important to understand why they're feeding, what it's doing. The reason that feeding might be stopping the hiccups is because it's stimulating peristalsis to go down the ways. It's difficult. That's why as adults, you often say, do 10 sips of water quickly. It's because what we're doing is we're trying to stimulate peristalsis to get the stomach going down the ways rather than trying the diaphragm pushing stuff up. Hopefully that makes sense. Edel, there's lots of scientific reflux to prove that reflux is not caused by dairy allergy. If you read, it's in my cupboard somewhere, page 1111 or 1112 of the Gray's Anatomy, big book on anatomy, actually states that reflux is caused by a pressure difference between the stomach and the esophagus. There's lots of research on this. There's aerophagia induced reflux. There's papers on that. However, that's not what I'm here to discuss today. If you want to go and search the research, by all means, off you go. There's lots provided in my book as well. If baby always gets hiccups after laughing, does that point to general oral dysfunction? Not at all. Not at all, Hayley. This question is really important. Sometimes I get hiccups when I'm laughing. All it means is that when I'm laughing, when I take a big breath, I'm not just filling my lungs with air, but I'm also filling my stomach with air. It's not a sign of oral dysfunction at all. It's a sign that baby is, excuse me, putting air into their tummy with the inhalation that is happening with the laughing. I'm going to go back to an Instagram question. Shannon, your baby has silent reflux. She's on Gaviscon, read a lot about these medications long term. Okay, so that question, if you want to look about medications, etc., please go and see our free medications guide. If you're on Instagram, you'll get that link in our bio. Not going to answer any questions that aren't hiccup related today, but 8-month-old gets wet hiccups after certain foods. Does that mean he's intolerant? Nope, not at all. Doesn't necessarily mean that. It might be an indication, but it might not. We need to understand the whole picture. It might be that if there's allergies and intolerances, there's always going to be other signs related as well. Okay, so I've got a few more. Hiccups happen a long time after feeding. Would this still be linked to air intake? Possibly, but we need to understand what else is going on for this child in the bigger picture. It might be laughing, it might be giggling, it might be crying. There's loads of air intake sources, so it may or may not be relevant. Somebody's baby is currently hiccuping. Amazing. Another question. I have a second child with reflux and hiccups started in utero. First one's now 5 and hates all sparkling beverages. Do you know what? My older daughter, who is nearly 9, also detests sparkling beverages. It might be that hiccups, that they have connected it with hiccups and they just don't want it. Although not wanting sparkling beverages isn't necessarily a bad thing. You're also saying there's a relationship between hiccups and reflux. Yeah, absolutely. Another Facebook comment, definitely feel baby overfeeds from the breast and causes her to be quite sick after. Sometimes she'll feed for an hour. Yeah, that's because they're filling the tummy more than it should do. See my water balloon analogy elsewhere for that. Another question in on Facebook. No, Instagram. Last one, I think. Do hiccups always mean baby swallows a lot of air? Could it be oral ties? Well, the oral ties would result in air intake. So hiccups are always related to air. Okay. So that is it for today, everybody. Thank you very much. If this has been helpful, then please please leave a comment, and please share it. I am building a body of videos answering the most frequently asked questions. If you've got other questions, get onto our email list, because there's an opportunity there for you to input your questions so that we can add them on. We currently have 52 a set of 52 questions that are asked really frequently that I am answering over the next few weeks and months even. But I'm going to be here regularly Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2:30. And get on our email list through any of our freebies. Go to www.thebabyrefluxlady.co.uk/freebies, and you'll be on our email list, and we will send you out information of how to join us. The other way to get notifications without joining an email list, without joining another Facebook channel or YouTube or Instagram or anything, is to join us in our Telegram channel, https:/t.me/Baby Reflux Lady, and I shall see you there. Thank you so much. I love to hear. I've just had a comment on Facebook saying these lives have been invaluable. It's amazing to know this is what I'm here. I am here to change the world for infants and families where babies are struggling with reflux. It doesn't have to be like this. All right. Hope you all have an amazing weekend. Goodbye and see you soon. And I will end the broadcast. There we go.